Every once in a while, a story comes along that reminds us why we still believe in dreams. Why we still believe that even in the darkest corners of the world, a light can shine so bright that it moves millions of hearts. Today, you're going to witness one such story, the story of a poor Filipino boy who had nothing, yet sang with a heart so pure, it made even the toughest judges break down in tears. His name is Rian, and this is how his life changed forever on the stage of Manila's Got Talent 2025. Before we begin, welcome back to the channel where real stories inspire millions every day. If you love heart-touching performances, unforgettable auditions, and moments that restore your faith in humanity, you're in the right place. Now, let's begin. The story starts in the outskirts of Manila, a small fishing village where the nights are silent except for the sound of waves, and the days are spent struggling to survive. In a small wooden shack with a tin roof, lived 12-year-old Rian with his mother, Maria. Life was never easy for them. His father had left when Rian was just 5 years old, leaving his mother to raise him alone. She worked day and night washing clothes for other families, earning barely enough to buy food. Most days, they would share a single bowl of rice between them. But through all the hardship, one thing always stayed constant: Rian's love for music. Ever since he could remember, he found peace in singing. When other kids played in the streets, Rian would sit under a mango tree with a broken guitar his father had left behind. 3 of its 6 strings were missing, yet he played it as if it were brand new. He'd sing old country songs he heard on a small, crackling radio, songs by Johnny Cash, Kenny Rogers, and Willie Nelson. He didn't understand all the words, but he understood the emotion. Those songs told stories of struggle, pain, and hope, things he knew all too well. His mother would often pause her work just to listen. Sometimes tears would roll down her cheeks as she whispered, "Your voice, Rian, it's your gift. Never stop singing." But Rian didn't think much of it. To him, singing was just a way to forget hunger and loneliness, even for a few minutes. One day, as Rian was singing outside the local market, something unexpected happened. A man passing by stopped in his tracks. He was a local music teacher named Mr. Cruz, who had taught at a nearby school for years. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. The voice coming from this barefoot boy was raw, honest, and deeply emotional. Mr. Cruz approached him and asked, "Boy, where did you learn to sing like that?" Rian smiled shyly and replied, "From the radio, sir." The man chuckled in disbelief. "You've got something special, son. Have you ever thought of singing in a competition?" Rian shook his head. He didn't even know what that meant. But when Mr. Cruz told him about Manila's Got Talent, something sparked inside him. The thought of performing on a real stage, in front of judges, lights, and a crowd, it felt impossible, like a dream too big for a boy like him. When he told his mother, she hesitated. They didn't have money for transport, clothes, or even proper shoes. But Rian's eyes were full of hope. "Please, Mama," he begged. "Just let me try once." After a long pause, she smiled weakly and said, "Then we'll find a way." And so they did. Maria took on extra laundry work, staying up late at night just to earn enough money for the bus fare. A neighbor helped by lending Rian a shirt that wasn't too torn, and Mr. Cruz fixed up an old guitar so he could perform with it. The morning of the audition, Rian and his mother stood at the terminal holding hands. She kissed his forehead and whispered, "Whatever happens, sing with your heart. That's all that matters." When they reached the audition venue in Manila, Rian was overwhelmed. Hundreds of contestants were there, dancers, magicians, singers, all dressed in fancy clothes, holding expensive instruments. He stood quietly in his worn-out slippers, clutching his patched-up guitar, feeling completely out of place. Some people even stared at him, whispering and laughing. One girl smirked and said, "Is he lost? This isn't a charity show." But Rian didn't respond. He just sat down on the floor and tuned his guitar, eyes closed, humming softly to himself. Hours passed. Finally, his number was called. Contestant 231, Rian Dela Cruz. As he walked on stage, the crowd went quiet. The lights blinded him for a moment. The judges, Simon Cowell, Lee Salonga, and Gary Valenciano, looked curious but skeptical. Simon leaned forward and asked, "Hello there, what's your name?" "Rian, sir," he replied softly. "How old are you, Rian?" 12, sir. "And what are you going to sing for us today?" Rian took a deep breath and said, "A country song, sir, one I wrote myself." The crowd murmured, "A country song? From a poor Filipino boy, Simon raised an eyebrow, clearly unsure what to expect. "All right, whenever you're ready," he said. Rian closed his eyes and began to strum his guitar. His fingers trembled at first, but the moment he started singing, the entire hall fell silent. His voice was soft, pure, and hauntingly beautiful, filled with pain, hope, and love. The song was called Home Under the Stars. It told the story of a boy who had no roof over his head, but found peace in the stars above him, a song about finding light in the darkness. His lyrics went like this: "I sleep beneath the open sky, with dreams the only thing that's mine. The world don't see this heart of mine, but I'll keep singing, one day I'll shine." As he sang the chorus, his voice grew stronger. The emotion in every word made people in the audience hold their breath. By the second verse, even Simon had put down his pen and was watching intently. Salonga covered her mouth, tears beginning to form in her eyes. By the final chorus, Ryan's voice cracked slightly, but it only made it more real, more human. When he sang the last line, "Mama, this song's for you," his mother, standing backstage, broke down completely. For a few seconds after he finished, there was absolute silence. Then, the entire audience rose to their feet, applauding loudly. Some were crying, some were smiling through tears. Simon stood up slowly and said, "Rian, that was one of the most emotional performances I've ever seen. You have a gift, young man, and that song, that story, that voice, it's everything music should be." Lee wiped her tears and added, "I've judged many competitions, but I've never heard a voice so pure, so honest. You sang from your soul." Gary smiled and said, "That song didn't just touch us, it reminded us why we love music in the first place." And then, in a moment no one expected, Lee reached forward and slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down as Rian froze in shock. His mother ran on stage and hugged him tightly as the audience cheered. The judges stood up, clapping, as Rian wept in his mother's arms. The host shouted, "Rian Dela Cruz gets the golden buzzer." That moment went viral across the world within hours. Millions watched the clip online. People from different countries commented things like, "That boy has the voice of an angel," and, "This is what real talent looks like." The next morning, Ryan's story was everywhere: newspapers, TV channels, and social media. People started raising funds for his family. Local musicians offered him free lessons, and producers reached out to record his song. But Rian didn't let fame get to his head. In interviews, he would say, "I just wanted to sing for my mom. I never thought the world would listen." Weeks passed, and the semifinals approached. Rian knew the pressure was high, the audience expected another emotional masterpiece. But instead of choosing a famous song, he decided to perform another original piece, titled Barefoot Dreams. The song was about his life, growing up poor, walking barefoot on hot roads, and dreaming of a better tomorrow. During rehearsals, even the production crew couldn't hold back tears. One of the cameramen said, "This kid is special. He doesn't just sing songs, he tells his soul through music." On the night of the semifinals, the stage was set beautifully, a soft golden light, a wooden bench, and a starlit backdrop. Rian walked out barefoot, holding his old guitar. The crowd erupted in applause. He took a deep breath and began to sing. "I walked miles with no shoes to wear, but I had dreams the world could share. Every scar upon my skin is proof I fought, and I won within." As he sang, the camera cut to the judges. Simon nodded slowly, visibly emotional. Lee clasped her hands together, tears once again streaming down. When Rian hit the final note, the entire audience was on their feet before he even finished. Simon said softly, "I don't know how you do it, Rian. You make grown men cry." Gary added, "You're not just a contestant. You're a message, that no matter where you come from, you can touch hearts with your truth." Rian advanced straight to the finals. By now, he had become a national sensation. Kids in schools were singing his songs. Street vendors played his performances on small radios. People said he represented the spirit of the Philippines, humble, strong, and full of hope. But the finals were going to be the biggest night of his life. He wanted to make it perfect. He wrote a final song titled, "For Every Broken Dream." It was dedicated to everyone who ever felt invisible, forgotten, or hopeless. The night of the finale, the entire country watched. Even the president tweeted, "Rooting for our boy Rian tonight." When he walked on stage, he looked calm but determined. His mother watched from the front row, clutching her rosary tightly. The music began, soft piano, followed by gentle guitar strumming. Rian sang with all his heart. For every broken dream I've known, I built a song, I made it home. And when the night feels dark and long, I'll keep on singing, I'll stay strong. Halfway through the song, the lights dimmed, and a video played behind him, clips of him singing in the streets, helping his mother, smiling through struggles. The audience started crying openly. When he finished, there wasn't a single dry eye in the room. Simon stood up immediately and said, "You are what this show is about, Rian. You didn't just sing a song, you told your story, and in doing so, you told ours too." Lee said, "You've changed lives tonight." Gary added, "You reminded the world that greatness can come from the humblest places." When the results were announced, the crowd chanted his name, Rian. Rian, Rian. The host opened the envelope, smiled, and shouted, "The winner of Manila's Got Talent 2025 is Rian Dela Cruz." The hall erupted. Confetti rained once again as Rian burst into tears. His mother ran on stage, hugging him tightly as Simon and Lee applauded. The audience chanted louder. It was a moment of pure magic. A poor boy from a small village had just won the biggest talent show in the country. Reporters flooded him with questions, but Rian stayed humble. "I just wanted to make my mom proud," he said softly. "This is for her, and for every child who dreams, even when they have nothing." Over the next few months, Rian's life changed. Completely. He signed a record deal, performed at major events, and even went on international shows. But he never forgot where he came from. He rebuilt his home, bought his mother a proper bed, and started a small foundation to help street kids learn music. When asked why he focused on helping others so soon after fame, he said, "Because I know what it feels like to be forgotten. I want those kids to know they matter too." Years later, his song, Home Under the Stars, became a global hit. Artists from all over the world covered it. One American country singer said, "This boy from the Philippines reminded us all what country music is really about, truth, heart, and hope." During an interview years later, Simon Cowell recalled that audition and said, "I've seen thousands of performers, but that boy was different. He sang from a place most people never dare to go." Rian's story became legend, a tale told not just on TV but in classrooms and music halls, reminding everyone that dreams have no price tag, and that talent doesn't come from wealth or fame, but from the heart. Today, if you visit his village, you'll see children singing his songs, dreaming just like he once did. And in the evenings, when the stars appear, you can still hear the echo of his voice, that small boy who once sang under the stars, believing that one day, his voice would reach the world. And it did, because sometimes, all it takes is one dream, one song, and one brave heart to change everything.